Elimination Chamber is in the books. We are officially less than 2 months away from WrestleMania. And, Triple H said it was going to be a groundbreaking, earth-shattering moment that would happen here at Elimination Chamber. And, usually kind of feels like a lot of hyperbole, a lot of overselling, and aggrandizing, but this John Cena heel turn is unbelievable. I think the thing that is the craziest about it is even like watching it happen, there was almost a part of me that was like, this can't really be happening. Like, finally, after all of these years and all of this time, they're going to finally do this. But then he just kept beating down Cody Rhodes. So if there was any doubt to be left, they smothered that out. They beat that out of Cody Rhodes very fast. So Elimination Chamber was tonight, and obviously the big story coming out of it is this John Cena heel turn. He is aligned with The Rock, for lack of a better word. He has sold his soul. The whole thing, hyping this up, of course, was will Cody agree to go with The Rock? The Rock has a plan B. Cody, in a huge moment that I thought was going to be the lasting meme or anything to come out of this, was him telling The Rock to go F himself. Crazy to see that on WWE TV in 2025, but it's a different time, I guess, when The Rock is around and part of the board. So John Cena, they get the look. I don't know why everyone that's about to turn heel gets this crazy look on their face. Like, they just have been holding this evil in, and it's like, oh man, finally. But this face John Cena made looking at The Rock was insane. Like, this was like, I don't even think he's made this in any of his movies. I'm trying to think of movies where he's a bad guy, and I don't think there are any. But this was crazy. So he turns heel at the end of this Elimination Chamber match and segment. Just brutally beats down Cody Rhodes. He hit him with like 5 separate. They hit him with a Rolex, hit him with the belt, stepped on his head, just punched him for a little bit. Like, Cody, when they took him to the back, like, they did this weird thing where it was like, okay, the show's over, press conferences are starting in a little bit, and the post show and everything, and it faded out on Cody, busted up and in the center of the ring, and then cut back right back to him, and all the announcers got into the ring and helped him out, and he was like already super bruised and bloody, and like my wife and I were watching it, and we're like, you could see all the blood in his bleached blonde hair, of course. Like, it just makes it look that much messier and worse. And it was crazy, like, to instantly create an unbelievable angle for WrestleMania. I thought John Cena Cody Rhodes was a great dream match on its own, because it's two like immovable objects of babyface when it comes to WWE. I think a lot of WWE fans that only watch WWE will be shocked whenever the day comes that Cody does go heel. And so, I thought just on its own, that was a great main event. Like, it's so easy to picture Cena and Cody Rhodes on the poster for WrestleMania together. Like, it's such a easy visual. You add this element into it all, and it just kind of blew everything wide open. And I think the thing I keep thinking about with this and keep coming back to with this in the moments after it and in the last few hours, as I've been trying to like think about, okay, what do I want to say? How do I want to talk about this? Is the thing I keep thinking about is what this does now to everything around this match and this story now. Because Cody taking The Rock's offer and going heel kind of felt like it could have been a catalyst for a lot of things. You could have had Kevin was right. You could have had Drew McIntyre was right. You could have had Seth Rollins getting pushed over the edge after kind of having those promos of being like, don't be the corporate guy, don't make me hate you. You have CM Punk being right with all of his, you can only do so much for so long, you need to look out for yourself type promos. And it would have created a lot of lanes to new matchups for Cody and new stories and directions to take it. And Cena, it kind of felt like something was going to happen. So wrestling is funny in that way, because you get, once something is said, it's basically going to happen. Like, that's kind of how wrestling, it's just all Chekhov's gun. So The Rock is like, hey, Cody Rhodes, I want your soul. Like, specifically uses the phrase soul. And it's like, oh, well, that's crazy. And if Cody doesn't do it, the story is just as much who is going to, because you don't throw something like that out there for Cody to say no and then we move on. Someone has to take that offer. I hate to use this metaphor, but it's, Peter Parker takes off the symbiote suit, it goes and finds Eddie Brock. It's not just like, okay, that was fun. We had a run. So there obviously had to be someone, and I think Cena. It it's good because it's finally happening, and people have wanted it for so long, and it was genuinely a shocking moment tonight to see it happen and to see it actually finally, like, Cena be unlocked like this, like with that dead look in his eyes looking at The Rock, into the ruthlessness that he beat down Cody with. And I think that's something that's going to be a big gain here for him. I'm glad that they didn't do this years ago. I know they have said so many times, like, oh, we had the potential Cena heel turn planned, and it just didn't happen because of this, that, and another thing. His charity work, his merchandise selling, whatever it is, his reputation, whatever it was, there were always something to keep him from going heel. And when I think about it now, and when I think about the old regime in WWE and the new regime and The Rock being so involved now, there's a viciousness to this turn and to The Rock overall as this final boss character that just wouldn't have been there if this was the old regime. If Cena had turned heel in like 2012 or 2013 or in that range, he would have just been like what Seth Rollins was in The Authority. And there were like moments and stuff with that, but it wouldn't have been something like this. It would have been way more cartoony. Waiting till now and doing it this way, where it's just brutal and vicious, and then he does the press conference after, where all he does is walk in and pick up the mic and drop it and leave. Like, it's clear that there's going to be something to this, and I've been thinking about that a lot too. Is what does this look like now that we have these two teamed up? Because John Cena's retirement tour has not exactly been I'm going to be at every single show type of thing so far. It was a talking point on SmackDown on Friday that he was not there, and he was the only one of the participants in the men's Elimination Chamber match that were not at that show. And it was like, okay, cool. Well, he just put himself in the match, and now he's just not here, the night before the show. And The Rock said afterwards tonight that Cena had flown in to Toronto this morning, did the match and everything, and then immediately left to hop on a plane to fly back to whatever movie he's currently shooting. But going heel is going to be interesting, because it's going to probably honestly fall a lot on Cody Rhodes to carry this feud still. I'm sure these guys will pop up a little bit more. I'm sure Cena will pop up a little bit more as we get closer to WrestleMania. But this is going to be a lot of Cody coming out and doing the heavy lifting and promos week after week after week, which we know he can do, because that was the Roman feud for 2 years, basically, was, Cody doing a lot of the talking, and then once a month Roman shows up, or there's a video segment or something. So we've seen this before. It's just interesting that they would go with Cena aligning with The Rock when it's two part-timers, and, who knows how often they're going to actually pop up. And if they do show up more than you would expect, then, use that to your advantage. Don't advertise it 2 weeks out. Don't be like, hey, in 2 weeks, in the middle of March, at the end of March, The Rock and Cena are going to be here. Like, just have them show up. There's such a like feeling of like dread or anything when you get that surprise return for the monster heel, and like the like here we go, like the like unplanned nature of it. That's what made The Rock showing up on Raw when he whipped Cody with the belt in the rain so shocking, was no one knew The Rock was going to be there. So I really hope that they learn that lesson at least, and they don't just advertise the appearances, every other week or every 3 weeks. They'll be on until Mania, and then who knows from there. But it's just, yeah, it's so interesting. It's such an interesting lane to go now. The other thing I keep thinking about with this is what The Rock said to Cody when he first brought all of this up and said, I want to take you to movie premieres and have you doing A-list things, and you'll be a forever star, and you'll be at the top of the world, and all of those things sound great. And they also sound a lot like what John Cena already has. He's if not an A-list actor, he's in the B-list at least. He's consistently making movies that do well, and he's constantly busy. He's got status. He's instantly recognizable, and it just feels like he doesn't need this as much. It's like I think Michael Cole even said it while he was beating down Cody Rhodes. He's like, "Why are you doing this? Like, what do you need this for?" And I think that's going to really have to really lean on how bad his record has been in these last few years that he's been part-timing it, and how many big matches he's lost. And the Royal Rumble this last year, and losing that at the last second to Jey Uso, and having to be the bigger man in the moment, even though he was devastated and didn't think he'd get to compete in WrestleMania. Like, how that pushed him to this point. He doesn't need fame or money or anything like that. What he needs is the accolades, because before he hangs it up, he needs to prove to himself that he still, has it and can, still go, and isn't leaving because he's washed. He's leaving because he wants to. And this whole thing is going to become all about the title, all about the 17th reign, which honestly is great. I'm glad they're leaning into this, because if he's wrestling this whole year, then doing this now is a lot better than stretching it out and having him win the last night he's wrestling, and then he just drops the title as he retires. Like this, making a story like this where he's pushed to the limit and he's forced, like not forced, but chooses to do this out of that desperation and out of that need to win. Where, so many times he's been like, oh, it's okay, if it happens, it happens, and blah, blah, blah. Like, to finally shed that layer is a really nice storytelling device, and it's going to create a lot of opportunity for him to really do some solid character work too, I think. So I do really like that, and I hope that's the way they go, because if it's just, yeah, I wanted to be in Moana 3, like, it just doesn't ring as true. And I mean, honestly, I was kind of skeptical on Cody with all of this too, and him turning heel for to join The Rock, because like he's on the cover of the video game. He's the number one merchandise seller. Everyone knows him that likes wrestling. Everyone knows who Cody Rhodes is. He doesn't need really that extra bump. He could go to any premiere right now with the title anyways, probably. So like it was a little too like, okay, that sounds great, but Cody's character is a three-piece suit wearing flashy guy that everyone knows within the wrestling world. So like, how much more status is there to gain there? So I'm really curious to see how this is all going to unfold with Cena acting as like the hired gun, handpicked champion type. I'm sure this is not the last person that is going to join up with The Rock too. Like, I'm sure, because this stable is going to need people that are there every week. Like I said, they're not going to be there every week, I wouldn't imagine. Cena, probably not. I don't think The Rock and Cena together will be there every week. So they need more people. I don't think it's going to be Travis Scott, which who expected that one? I did not see Travis Scott hanging out, coming and like slapping the hell out of Cody Rhodes happening. That was wild. It's such an iconic picture of Cena and The Rock standing over Cody Rhodes, and Travis Scott in the back is just so funny to me. I don't know. I don't understand it. It just felt like, cool, he's here, let's throw him out there. Just wild. What a wild thing. So like in like 30 seconds, you see Travis Scott in the background like sparking up a blunt. You see Cody tell The Rock to F himself, and then John Cena turns heel for the first time basically, and like everyone is like, what, how did this all just happen in the span of 30 seconds to a minute? Like, what am I seeing right now? And that's kind of where we are with the star power and the cameos and things, and the bringing in mainstream artists and athletes to kind of legitimize things a little bit more, get a little bit more hype generated. He played The Rock to the ring, which I don't know if The Rock is just going to have different music mixed into his entrances right now, but like, it's cool in New Orleans when he came out to The Saints Are Marching. That was cool. This was cool too. This is, as far as I'm concerned, I am not the target demographic for this one, I don't think. So, this is fine by me, but I'll be curious to see like if this just keeps going, or if now Cody has to bring in Drake, who was in the crowd. They were in Toronto. He was like front row behind the announce table, or maybe he calls in like Metro Boomin or someone. Like, I don't know. Maybe they recreate was it Bad Blood that was in Atlanta with the Cody Metro Boomin? I don't know. But all I'm saying is it's going to be really interesting to see. And the Rock and Cena are going to need one or two more people, I think, to round out this stable to give Cody stuff to do for the next 50 days until we get to WrestleMania. But this is a huge swing. I'm glad they finally did it. And I'm glad Cena finally gets to do this because this is his last run, is what he says. So this means he must really want to do this, or The Rock cut a gigantic check and was like, hey, buddy, I need to be in here. I need to be in this main event. Like, I need to be in the scene. We made magic last year. Come on, let's do it again. Like, if it could be that, but I'm hoping that this is this is what John Cena wanted to finally do this. I hope so badly he comes out in black jorts moving forward and wrestles in the black jorts. I'm not prepared for full pants or long tights or anything. I need the black jorts on heel Cena. That's like my one request, is that, and he brings back the Word Life Basic Thugonomics entrance music. I don't think that'll happen because that would get way too cheered. But that would, like, black jorts and Thugonomics, and I am set until, like, you know what? At that point, throw the title on him. Let's run the all year. He could drop that thing and retire December 31st, as far as I'm concerned. And it's crazy, too, because this is obviously going to be the moment that overshadows everything. And this show was really good. The men's Elimination Chamber match up until this point was fantastic as well. Told some really good stories. I really liked the trio of Seth Rollins, Damian Priest, and Drew McIntyre. I thought those guys had a lot of chemistry together, and they worked really well together. I would like to see that as a triple threat match at some point for some title, because those guys, they worked very well together. We got the story of Seth's obsession with CM Punk costing him, and then he kind of cost, well, not kind of, he cost CM Punk at the end, which is nice too, because you get that bit of foreshadowing with Cena where, you know, he takes advantage of Punk getting laid out after Seth had been eliminated and drags him into the ring. You even hear him say, like, I'm sorry, as he's putting CM Punk to sleep with the STF. So a lot of really cool stuff going on here. And really, like I said, throughout the whole card, this was a really, really good show. The Women's Elimination Chamber match opened the show, and it opened with the incredible angle of Jade Cargill returning and just beating the hell out of Naomi. It was staged perfectly, where she comes back and Liv Morgan and Naomi are about to start the match. Everyone else are in the pods waiting, and she comes out, and Liv Morgan's like, no, here we go. Like, no, it wasn't me. Like, looking like all scared. And Jade just turns and just lays out Naomi. And the visual of her beating up Naomi while Bianca Belair is, like, pounding on the inside of the pod, like screaming, like, why are you doing this? What is happening? Like, that shock and that disarray, like, it was so well done. I really hope that this is leading to some good character work for Naomi and a lot of stuff for her to do, because taking her out of a high profile match like this, I feel like she's someone who is often sacrificing. Like, it's her match gets cut, or, you know, she goes and does this instead of this, or she gets taken out of the title opportunity, or, like, even what was it? It was the Bailey Naomi match was, I think, for qualifying for the Elimination Chamber originally. So, like, there's stuff like that. It's like or it was the first who was going to challenge Tiffany first, and it was, you know, there's always things where it feels like Naomi is the one who comes up short. And so I hope that this isn't just Jade Cargill comes back, squashes her, Naomi turns heel, gets squashed again, and then Jade moves on to whatever the next thing is going to be. Like, I really hope that there is direction here for Naomi, because she absolutely deserves it. And, you know, I thought everything was executed very well, but I felt bad that she got taken out of the match. And then they didn't even, like, have a replacement. They just said, all right, she's eliminated. We're down to 5. Like, and it was a weird, like, I don't know. It stood out to me, and it felt weird to me. Even though I thought the overall story was really well done. And as far as the rest of the women's match, it was great. Roxanne Perez looked like she fit immediately in with that group of women, those top tier stars on the women's side of the roster. She did great. Alexa Bliss, I hope, has more to do this WrestleMania season than just wait for WWE to roll the Wyatt Six back out there. Like those guys haven't been on TV, I don't think, since December. I don't know why they're doing all these teases if they're not going to do anything. I don't know what the plan is there, but I think she coming back and having like no ring rust and looking great in the matches that she's had since returning. Like, how are you not positioning her for like a premier spot on the card for WrestleMania? I'm sure there's going to be some sort of like multi-women match for the US title, the women's intercontinental title, any of those. So I could see a lot of women. I could see Alexa Bliss, Roxanne Perez, even any of those women kind of going into that. It seems like they might go Roxanne Perez, Bayley still. I kind of thought that might have been more of a stand and deliver NXT match, but as long as they get a match, that's fine too. I do think Bianca overcoming everything and winning is the right move, because I think Bianca Rhea is a literal dream match when you consider how talented the two of them are and how like peak top of their game they are right now. Like it feels like it's a mistake to hold off on having them wrestle, and that feels like a WrestleMania match to me. And as soon as she won, I was like, okay, I would really like this to be the night one WrestleMania main event. Like, I understand there's probably going to be something happens where we get Cena and The Rock running back the tag team idea from last year. And this time it's Cody and who knows, probably Roman Reigns teaming up to take on Cena and The Rock. And I could easily see that happening. And then they push like, oh, we're the main event now. Sorry. I could easily see that happening. I hope it doesn't, though, because I think those two women absolutely could main event night one and absolutely tear the house down with it as well. We also had the tag team match tonight, Tiffany Stratton and Trish Stratus versus Nia Jax and Candice LeRae. It was really nice to see Candice LeRae get this type of opportunity. I think she could probably do way more, but to see her get prominent spots on PLEs is very good. Always good to see Trish Stratus. I cannot believe she still wrestles the way that she does now. It's unbelievable. I think she said this was the first time her kids were going to be live in the crowd watching her wrestle. Like that's insane. It makes me feel so old to hear that. But that was a lot of fun. Tiffany needed to be confirmed as a babyface, and what better way to do that than with the help of Trish Stratus and a hometown Toronto crowd, like the most pro Trish Stratus crowd you could possibly get. So that helps build Tiffany up a little bit more into this showdown with Charlotte Flair at WrestleMania. And then last match-wise, we only had 4 matches on the card, and my God, if John Cena's heel turn wasn't going to overshadow this whole weekend, Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn stole the show. Those guys went out there and they put on a hardcore match that would make all of those old hardcore legends proud. They absolutely held nothing back. This is the type of match that you could probably only have if you're really good friends with the person you're wrestling. Like, I can't fathom pitching someone you don't know really well, like, hey, I'm gonna throw you front flip style through 2 stacked tables. Okay, you do that, and I'm gonna blue thunder bomb you through a chair that's wrapped in barbed wire, propped up on 2 other chairs, and it might not break. You might just like land directly on it. I don't know. Like, it's unbelievable, and what was so good about this match is you had the commentary team selling this like, stop the match, what are we doing, this is sick. And then you would have this crazy, like a crazy spot would happen. I think Sami Zayn toe dropped Kevin Owens face first off of this barbed wire chair, then hit him with it a couple times, then did the Blue Thunder Bomb, and then pinned him. And Kevin Owens kicks out, and there was like this air of disbelief in the crowd. And it happened like 2 or 3 times where the crowd was almost just like stunned it was going to still be happening. And like what more? Like, how could this still be going on? And it was crazy. It was like the perfect way to like flip that like bloodthirsty audience wants the tables and all the chants and stuff, and like kind of be like, hey, okay guys, tone it down. Like this is getting, like, you guys can stop now. This is getting crazy. And I have never seen that happen in a WWE ring. And those two guys, Sammy and Kevin, just go out and have 5-star matches against each other in any style, any time, on a moment's notice, no matter the build. And this was amazing. I was blown away watching them do this and watching the crowd react as it did. And then after the match, Kevin is trying to continue laying out Sami Zayn. Randy Orton returns after months away, and goes to punt Kevin Owens, and like all of the security people in WWE like pull Kevin Owens out of the ring, as if the Randy Orton punt is 1,000 times more dangerous than wrapping a steel chair around someone's neck and driving them into the ring posts, or the like I said, the flip through the table, the hockey stick shots, the weird hockey stick thing where Kevin Owens put it in Sammy's mouth and like then bit his forehead at the same time. Like, it was crazy. So it's funny to see them be like, whoa, 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 whoa. We got to draw the line at Randy's punt. We can't go for it. Like, no, there's no way. So that's a cool tease to see him tease bringing back that legend killer punt. And if this means we're going to get a WrestleMania match that ends with him punting Kevin Owens, then Kevin Owens is basically just living out like an Attitude Era fanboy checklist. Like, he wrestled Stone Cold. He's going to get a punt from Randy Orton. I'm pretty sure, like, what more could you ask for? And I think that's everything I had wanted to talk about. The only other thing, and it goes back to John Cena, the John Cena of it all, of course, is Roman Reigns and how Roman Reigns fits in all of this. And I really don't know, because the way everything unfolded in the chamber match tonight for the men, with Seth Rollins taking out CM Punk, the way he did, it kind of feels like we're heading towards a Seth Punk one-on-one matchup. And I know there were talks about a triple threat with Roman, and the last time we saw Roman, Seth laid him out as well with a stomp after they got eliminated in the Rumble. So I don't know. Like, I could easily see Roman returning at some point and just attacking Rollins, and it just gets made a triple threat. But that kind of doesn't feel like enough. Like it feels like Roman has main evented WrestleManias for the last like 7 years or 8 years. Because I think for the most part he has, honestly. I think there's only like 1 or 2 matches that he had that were not the main event at this point lately. And I wonder what he's going to be doing, because I do see a world where they turn this into a tag team thing where Roman has to come back up Cody, or chooses to come back up Cody. But the last time we saw Roman, he was getting the Ula Fala from The Rock, and he was handing it to him, and everything seemed good. So I don't know what the dynamic is going to be here. If Roman gets mad that The Rock chose Cena to be his handpicked champion and just ignoring him in the family, or what it's going to be, or if Cody Rhodes is like, hey, I helped you and you needed it, I need you. If this is trying to build to a Rock Roman match either at SummerSlam next year or at WrestleMania 42 in New Orleans, like if they're going to start that build a year early, like I really don't know. And the thing hanging over all of it too is CM Punk with this favor still that he has that they keep mentioning from time to time, with Paul Heyman and Roman Reigns owing him a favor for helping Roman. And so it's just odd. It's a lot of moving pieces, and someone like Roman Reigns, who has been the big bad and the face of the company for the last 8+ years, it's crazy to think that his storyline is not only not that clear, but is so dependent on everyone else and what they're doing. So I'm really interested to see what they're going to do with him and how he's going to fit into all this, because like there's only, I think they said 50 days or 49 or 48 days left to WrestleMania, and like it sounds like a lot of time to get things done, but if it's gonna go by so fast. There's no more PLEs until WrestleMania. Like, now we go and we see what happens, and the card fills out, and what happens. So I don't know. I'm very interested in this, because Cody, for his side of things, like all of the help he had last year, it's kind of gone. Like, WWE did a really good job of separating everyone off into their things, and now Cody's gonna look for backup, and where does he go? You have Punk, who's likely going to be with Rollins. You have Jey Uso, who's going to be challenging Gunther. You have Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens, who have imploded and just put each other through absolute hell. And and Cena now, who helped Cody, is the enemy. And so there's not a lot of places to turn. It's Jimmy Uso, it's Roman Reigns, and then that's kind of it. So I'm really interested to see what they're going to do with that. But I think that was everything. I have all my notes right here. Yeah, I think that was everything. I might do more on this later after I've thought about it some more. But let me know your thoughts. Let me know how you felt about this show. If the John Cena heel turn just overshadows everything, or if there was something else that you really liked from it. Let me know your thoughts. Yeah, I can't believe it. Heel Cena's here. That merch better be on point.